All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to begin our budget workshop with the Assessor's Office for October 8th, 2018. Before we get started, we'll just do a quick round of introductions for the record.
Sharon Trask.
Dale Kim.
Tom Davis.
Rick Allen.
Jennifer Byerly.
Tyler Klein.
Vicki King.
Randy Neville.
Kevin Chudy. Okay, very good. So kind of how we've been doing this is give you an opportunity to kind of do a presentation, and then we ask questions if we have any, and go from there.
Okay. Do you want to go or you want me to go?
Vicki's done most of the numbers for me because we've been busy with the reval, so I'll let her go. She went over it this morning, but she's...
So some of the differences that we had requested, we are going to give back. First of all.
Make it difficult.
Sorry.
First off.
Jen, get your pen ready.
So to begin with,
Well, the ER and R vehicles.
yes,
Because we're not purchasing, is that 30,000?
we're giving back 30,000. We were not sure, however, what to budget for next year because the lease is what's out for bid. So we were just gonna leave it at the 17, whatever we paid ER and R last year.
That's
We
what
just
Frank
don't
told
need
us.
the
That's fine.
30,000 for the new vehicle, okay? So the other thing, the appraisers were allotted $200 each for clothing allowance. And Jen put it in the correct place under uniforms because it comes out of salaries. So that 1,400 needs to stay there, and then the 1,200 that I had added to rain gear needs to come out. So that's 3,120 we're going to give you back.
Oh.
And then,
Where's Ranger showing up on this?
Well, it was under
Because I think you're.
negotiated rain gear. It was 1,200.
it's right below office supplies.
Oh,
Negotiated
right.
rain gear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had
Yeah.
added that allowance there, but Jen put it in the proper place up in uniforms, so we can take it out of there.
Okay. So under uniforms, you have that included in your number, Jen, up on the?
I do, I have 1,400
Right,
up under uniforms in the green.
Okay.
because there's 7 appraiser spots. The
And
chief
it-
appraiser before wasn't a
Okay.
union position, so.
It is under maintenance level
Yes.
currently.
Okay.
Next,
Which one was the other one?
the first one that we,
Yeah. So you're changing back the ER and R,
yes,
taking that out, and then it was the rain gear.
The negotiated rain gear.
correct. And then there's a uniform spot, so that money is just going
Oh, into there.
From there.
into there,
Got it.
out of the other.
Okay.
Okay, so now, office supplies, we requested an increase because $2,000 went absolutely 2 months last year, was gone, so. We increased that.
Okay, so on that, this is nothing new, this is just in order to maintain what you were already doing in
Correct.
in that line item.
Correct, because it came out of our bottom line, we ran out of that line item in
Maintenance.
February.
So you asked for a $6,000 increase on that?
Right,
And
What
what was
was
it a
that?
couple year before? Wasn't it like 5,000?
4.
4.
For
Simply
total?
because 2 a quarter, to me, seemed,
But how much did you spend last year, total?
Well, they
Did you say
budgeted
4?
4, and then she knocked
They
it down to
budgeted
2.
for it,
Mhm.
but how much did you spend?
Oh, we weren't there, so I guess.
Jen, do you know? Can you go back and look?
They probably had to take it out of a different line to do it anyway.
Oh.
It's not gonna be easy to probably check, is it?
I can run a report.
Well, in the prelim budget, they show like 2018 actual for office supplies is 1778.
But you want to know specifically what was purchased under that line?
Just how much they spent?
Oh,
Yeah.
just how much, okay.
I don't need to know every paperclip, just total.
And do you know why you ran out after 2 months?
because $2,000 bought paper and toner cartridges for the
There's-
work desks.
There were literally no office supplies when I took office.
Right, it was all just paper and toner cartridges for the printers around the office.
So through the end of September, it's $4,951.83, but you're wanting to know for
18.
Okay, for 18.
Well,
So we've spent 5 already.
1778. And that's why they had no office supplies for 19. if we've already spent that much this year, are you good with maybe 5? in that line?
Yeah, let's do
Maintenance.
that, yeah, let's
Okay.
start with that.
So, can you please change that from 8 to 5 and call it maintenance? So that's not, you're not.
5 total?
Yeah, you're not requesting, that's how much is going into your maintenance, so that's just your,
Okay.
you can still ask for more, in the PLR, but
Okay. So the next one, small tools and minor equipment, we can give you that back because we purchased iPads this year with the money that you allowed us to transfer, okay? That's what that had been for.
Okay.
So what shall we change that down to? Back to 750 as previous?
I would say for now, that would be my preference for now.
'Cause basically it's usually only just what cameras and,
Yeah, I'm not really even sure.
that's okay. 750 is, we'll call that your baseline.
IT trackable equipment, that's going to be for desktop scanners, replacement monitors, and 1 replacement computer.
Okay. So
Since
that-
we're responsible for
So, yeah. so
paying
that-
for equipment.
So that's a PLR then?
Mhm.
What, they don't know, so what we're.
Policy level request.
Yeah, and what we're doing though is, we'll go through all your stuff, the things that are maintenance, that becomes automatic. The things
Oh,
that are
okay,
PLR,
okay.
At the end, we'll talk about again when we're looking
Okay.
at the total
Okay.
money. You're kind of explaining your PLRs now.
oh,
And
Okay.
That's what,
we thought we had to explain everything in that line.
that's okay, you're doing good.
So the professional services, we're leaving that the same simply because we paid the down payment for the data cloud. We have a balance owing for them in January, and then we'll have a prorated amount for next year for their service. And they'll go online hopefully July, August, September, sometime in there next year.
And how much was it per year again?
I didn't bring my copy of the data cloud invoice. Is it 7,000 a year? It's not
I just
huge.
don't remember. So then why 32?
So part of that is,
The difference of what we haven't paid yet.
the difference, and then also Master's Touch, who does the printing for the NOVs, that was where the 11.5 was before. And then also Shoppers Weekly for any printing that we have done. So Data Cloud,
So there's 3 things now instead of just 2.
What I'm trying to figure out is, we actually already told you to go somewhere, to do something. And I think we would talk about that as being a maintenance, because we already told you to.
Okay.
So I need to figure out what that number is, so we can take that out of here.
Yikes.
And separate, that's all right, and separate a PLR from what we already told you.
what do you think the amount would be? 13?
We don't need to know, I mean, right now.
Okay.
I mean, if you,
I'll have
if
to
you
get
wanna
it.
go
We'd
have
back
to
and
go look
and
at
get
the last-
Jennifer,
And
the
that-
prorated
actuals,
amount.
that's gonna help a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, and we're telling Jennifer now that we're okay with what we already.
We committed, I think we voted on it and committed to it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
you know,
So that
would be
becomes
me.
part of the maintenance and separate that out.
Okay,
Great.
and then we just need the remainder.
So, the remainder would be for what again? So,
It's Master's Touch, the service company that does our notices of value every year. They do the printing and the mailing.
okay, well, they do that every year. You're saying?
Yes.
That's part of the
Okay.
11.5.
Right.
No, the 11.5, okay, that's the original 11.5. The only part we're talking about is the 32,500.
So the 20,000 more.
The difference.
And I think it's 13 a year for the data cloud and 7 for the balance of what we owe them. I believe that's
So
what the
that would
difference
make the whole
is.
thing a maintenance.
Mhm. If provided that's true, you know, we can,
I believe that's
Verify
correct.
that.
Double check that, so
Yeah, we'll go
that-
back over it and make sure that the number, the 44,000 is back to maintenance.
Okay. The next one, TerraScan, is an estimate. I do not know. Haven't gotten an invoice yet. It was 76,000 last year we were estimating for
Can
this
you
year.
check the year before, see what?
Or I'm sorry, 78 last year. We estimated 76 this year.
How come you estimated less?
Along with the calculations of the treasurer, Lisa Frazier. She helped me with that figure.
Well, you're actually-
She had last
You're actually
year's.
taking away money, and I don't think you're gonna
Correct.
be upset about that. but-
She had a copy of last year's invoice.
Uh-huh.
they provide a portion of the payment to TerraScan through their
Oh, the difference.
because they share that service with us. And she calculated along with me that it should be approximately 76,000 this year
Out of ours,
for our portion.
yeah.
Okay. Postage I increased simply because of cost of doing business, because I'm sure the postage rate's going to go up, right?
But we're not using any, we're doing just a guess.
Correct.
My recommendation would be to figure out what you think it's actually gonna be to the exact, and have that go in as a maintenance.
Okay,
And then, you know, anything other than that, and like, again, this is your first time doing
Okay.
anything other than, then you put that in for the PLR. If it's the actual cost of, is going up,
mhm,
that's how she'll deal with it under
Oh,
the other.
okay,
So currently, we're at 13,604 through September for postage, and that's exactly 75.6% of the budget. So it just depends on, I'm assuming you don't do the exact same amount of mailings every month.
Right.
So,
Correct.
So have you done most of your mailings for the year?
well, we've done the payment to Master's Touch for a portion of the postage,
Okay.
because they wanted that up front. We don't know how much that will end up
Being.
Resulting.
being.
Now in the end of the year.
Right, at 500.
I would leave that at kind of a PLR for right now, and then, we can figure that out.
Okay. And travel, we increased because I think we've gone over our allotment from last year. We've sent more people to trainings.
Yeah, we increased yours last year to cover some of that for you guys.
Mhm.
Looks like the actuals were 1896
Right.
as of August.
So that's all I was going by, was what we've spent this year
And
to
if you-
increase it for next year. 'Cause the appraisers have to go to keep their accreditation. They have to go to classes.
And a lot of them are being in Wenatchee for some reason, I think they're just making Central.
They go back and forth. Some of them are in Tumwater this year, but then there's still, next year. Then there's some that are also still in Wenatchee.
Last year, we spent special money to have you go do something too, and did we send you also? We tried to do something for your department to allow the electeds to go in there. We actually,
Oh,
What did you go to?
maybe she didn't go, that was just why we did it. Because that's why we did it, doesn't mean that's the way it
well, it
happened.
might have been that newly elected training, was it that? Because I think they,
I don't know, I don't recall, to be honest with you, I think,
because I went to that before I took office.
yeah.
You went to users conference this year and that's it?
Yeah,
She didn't even go to the assessors conference in Tacoma this year.
that was Waco. Well, I couldn't.
Too busy. Okay, so next we have, well, did we have a result on that?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I'd say PLR for now, and then, I don't have any particular problem with increasing that.
I think for the most part, most of the appraisers got their hours this year, and it's every 2 years, so it's usually every other year when it kind of gets
Yeah.
bigger. So hopefully it'll be on the west
I
side.
like the idea of having training, and that's something we talked about before, so hopefully we'll look at that at the end.
The copier lease is going to end August of 2020. I think we're planning on just getting another one, leasing another. But I didn't know how much the increase will be, for certain. I do know what our payments are every month right now, but when we get to the end of that contract next year, I don't know what the increase may be. So that was just an estimate on my part.
You're already at close to 3,000
Mhm.
right now, so you're already over for the
Mhm.
year.
I would.
And I'm sure it won't stay the same.
Maintenance,
I would call that maintenance.
let's call it maintenance.
Okay. And then there's the vehicles, we're taking that 30 out. Insurance bond, we don't do that anymore because risk management pays for it. I think we can remove that line item even, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Tuitions and registrations, that was the same. Reason for the increase was training for the appraisers and for the clerical staff. And we have new clerical that will have to train.
Do you wanna keep that until the end, or?
Yeah. Wait, what?
What?
Let's try that again.
He's still thinking about what I just said.
I was taking a note.
Wait, what? What I agree to?
Yeah, a PLR.
On which line, the
Tuition.
Tuition.
So what would that look like? I know you mentioned you have new staff to train. You know, I would probably say maintenance on that. I mean,
The whole 15?
well, it's, how much do you anticipate that it would cost to train?
The classes are ending up being like 150 or 175 a piece. Some of the appraiser ones are 375 each. We have 2 appraisers that have to go to USPAP training,
Use PAP and course, Sherry's got a course one.
and Sherry's got to go to course 101.
Yeah. So
They're-
the longer classes are usually 375, so we have a few that go in next year.
Yeah, you know, maybe we can do maybe 1,000 on maintenance for that, and then if you have things that come up, we can, you know, to get
Okay.
a better picture of, commissioners' thoughts.
Yeah, I'm looking at right now, tuition registration, currently right now, they're at 4,500 out of 6,000. So they're about on spot where they're,
Dues and subscriptions, what we pay for right now is the Marshall and Swift book that the appraisers use. And something else, but I can't remember what it is, I apologize.
Those are the commercial ones too. I mean, I think it's all just two different versions, the
Two
commercial
different
and the
books,
single
yeah.
family residence.
I typed a note in my budget request, did I not? I have a note that I didn't write for myself.
In
Dues.
units, I don't look at those
Yeah.
notes.
I'll have to give you a reason for that one, I apologize. What have we spent? We've spent,
On the dues.
right,
13 as of August.
I'll have to look and see what the 550 was intended for. Reallocate to salaries, we're not doing that anymore.
What was it, the IAAO? Sort of-
That could be it.
Yeah. There's an IAAO,
We pay for the appraisers'
like,
memberships.
yeah, if there's a membership, then we can take the classes for cheap, but online courses, so. Usually just.
you put the 15 grand back in, didn't you?
I did, but I just took it out.
Because it was up here and reallocate to operating and then reallocate from salaries, and we're not doing that again this year. Okey dokey.
All right. Commissioners, any questions?
Pretty painless, huh?
Not bad.
I do have one question. So, back when we did the elected salary realignment, you had mentioned that you didn't think it was fair. Totally fine. We talked about, Commissioner Nevlin and I had donated back portions of our salary in the past. Do you have any intention to do that?
Well, do I pay tax on it?
Yep.
We did.
That's the part I have a hard time.
She said
is
no
why can't
because
we
she paid
just-
tax on it.
No, I'm just wondering why we can't just forego our raise. Why can't we just not
Oh,
get a
yeah,
raise?
yeah. Can't do
Yeah,
that.
'cause you can't.
Yeah.
It's the law.
Because you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ran into that too. We had to actually cut checks back.
Mhm.
So that's what you do, is you receive it and then cut a check back to the county?
Mhm.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to do it. I just
Yeah,
want to be,
That's,
I just
Well,
want
I'm
to be
still
clear.
Thinking about it, but it's
You
like,
know.
Okay, well, just
so I
so.
understand why we can't just not get a raise. I mean,
because it's not up to you.
Yeah. So just
I
something
just-
that,
I mean,
and
it's,
I, you know, and I would just say that,
That's right.
you know, just for planning purposes, if they have to add a line for it, to think about it, and
oh,
then,
okay.
you know, it'd be my intent to keep that within your department, as you had mentioned in your remarks, so I wouldn't be looking to sweep it elsewhere. Just think about it as things go, move forward.
Yeah, it's October.
Well, then,
Yeah,
you know,
budget time,
the truth
so.
is, if you find you need to spend some money and you decide you wanna do it later, it can also be done that way.
Oh, okay.
We'll be mindful of where you want it.
It doesn't just go back to the county, I can just allot it back to my office.
Well, it does originally, and then we,
Right.
Okay.
yeah.
But, and that's part of the reason I'm bringing it up, is if we wanna have a conversation about that, we can
Make a line item to write.
figure it out now, as opposed to you worrying about it going into the void.
La la land.
So,
That, yeah, that is a worrisome. So, okay, I'll think about it.
okay. All right, any other questions, commissioners?
Thank you,
I
guys.
have one
Appreciate it.
more
Oh,
on the
Jennifer.
revenue, they are increasing from 6,000 to 7,000.
It's a total estimate because we don't know how much compensating tax we will collect this year, next year. That was just a total guess.
Well, this year it was, it's over $9,000, so,
I think I took an average of the last 3 years.
okay. So I just wanted to verify that you were okay with increasing that to 7,000 commission. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, if she thinks she's gonna be there and
Okay.
she's underestimating it, seems like she's being conservative, I
Okay,
think that's a good way to go.
Okay,
Thank you.
alrighty. Very good.
That was it?
That's all.
Definitely wasn't everything you thought or heard, huh?
18
Well,
minutes.
the funny thing is, it depends on the other side of the table and how they act about it. That's
There
what
you
it comes
go.
down to.
Makes a difference.
Now, if you're screaming and yelling, bringing in 30 people with you to lead us, that's,
Also, you're a small office. You don't have as many budget lines as other
You're right.
departments.
You're
so,
right about
The
that.
show offs or
yeah.
something. And the thing about the raise, I didn't say it was fair, I just would like to see my staff, you know.
And we can do that, yeah. I mean, just,
I mean, I got the whole point of it, I just confused why they're all, I mean, I get why they're tied together, but
yeah.
there should be a way to untie them, shouldn't there be?
Perfect world, unfortunately, we don't live. we
Put the
don't live
patties in
perfect
their own
world.
separate.
yeah. All patties get their own
Both the
line.
patties.
Mark that down.
All patties
Thank
in
you.
your own corners, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank All right, Commissioner, any discussion or, okay, all right, we are adjourned.